Up with KREM begins now.
Good morning and thank you for joining us here on Up with KREM. I'm Tim Pham. We also want to welcome you in if you're streaming us on KREM 2+. We also want to get right to meteorologist Thomas Patrick. He's tracking a very busy forecast in the days ahead. So Thomas, we're calling for a weather impact alert because of this change we haven't really seen in weeks.
Yeah, it's been exactly 3 weeks since we've had any kind of rain or snow either way, and both is back in the forecast for tomorrow morning. I'm also very intentional when it comes to my verbiage. I called it a rain-snow split, not a mix, because I don't think the rain and the snow is going to mix at all. I think some areas are going to get all snow and other areas are going to get all rain for tomorrow morning. This makes for a very tricky forecast. But because of the possibility of snow, I do think that there are going to be some very slushy roadways heading into tomorrow. So today's our last dry day. Look for mostly cloudy skies and highs actually up to 38.
This morning, we are following major breaking news from our nation's capital. Overnight, a plane collided with a military helicopter near Reagan International Airport. This is a live look at the Potomac River in Washington, D.C. Moments ago, authorities announced they are changing from rescue efforts to recovery efforts. They believe there are no survivors. We do have video of that collision, but we want to warn you, it is incredibly difficult to watch. Here's a look. Take a look at your screen. You can see the collision right here on this video from EarthCam. We've been getting updates from officials and emergency response crews all night long. Here's the new information we received while you were sleeping. 60 passengers and 4 crew members were on board when the plane went down. Right now, CBS News is reporting that at least 27 bodies have been pulled from the water. The plane was coming from Wichita, Kansas. It was an American Eagle flight operated by American Airlines, flight number 5342. The collision happened as the plane was trying to land at the airport. AP News is reporting the helicopter was conducting a training flight. All takeoffs and landings from the DCA airport are stopped until at least 8 a.m. Pacific time. A witness spoke about what he saw, including planes diverting in strange patterns and sirens quickly arriving to the tarmac.
We saw these white flare.
What were you thinking when you saw these white flares?
We didn't think much of it. We thought they were like shooting stars. I don't know. I couldn't really explain it, but we didn't really think much of it until we saw the fire trucks start going out to the tarmac and the police cars and the police boats. It was insane. It was really insane.
The CEO of American Airlines has expressed, quote, deep sorrows over the incident and says his company will cooperate with the investigation. We will continue to bring you updates on this crash every 30 minutes here on Up with KREM and streaming on KREM 2+. Authorities are confirming the suspect wanted for the murder of a 13-year-old boy in Hilliard over the weekend has been arrested. Missoula police and a SWAT team found Glenn Berkey just after noon yesterday. They say he surrendered and was taken into custody without incident. New court documents showed the 13-year-old victim, Gavin Looper, was at a family friend's home with his dad when he was shot at around 2:40 Saturday morning. Detectives determined the shooter fired 5 times through the back door into the room where Looper was playing games. A neighbor's security camera captured the shots. A witness living at the home identified the shooter as Dylan Berkey. She told police Berkey was arrested at the same home in 2020 for a drive-by shooting. Those charges were later dropped. She told investigators she last saw him New Year's Eve fighting with her husband. We've also learned Berkey has been convicted 3 times for criminal mischief since 2019. Here are some of the other top stories we're following. Police and fire chiefs from Spokane County spoke about their opposition to a new bill introduced in the Washington State House. House Bill 1258 has to do with how the county's emergency communication system is funded. Bill 1258 aims to allocate 911 funding by call volume instead of by population. The board chair for the Spokane Regional Emergency Communications, Corey Rohrbach, says no other city in Washington would use this approach. According to Rohrbach, if this House bill passes, Spokane County taxpayers would end up covering about 13% more of the city of Spokane's costs. To make up that 13%, taxes will either have to be raised or services will have to be cut inside of the emergency response teams across the county. Rohrbach says it unfairly takes county taxes and directs them to the city.
This is targeted legislation at the state level. However, it would only apply to one city in the entire state.
However, the city sent us a statement saying that SREC is taking the city's fire department out, regardless of the city's $30 million in financial reserves. It goes on to say that SREC is, quote, turning its back on our community and trying to walk away with the very funds our residents have invested. Rohrbach says today a group of county leaders will head to Olympia to testify in person. Drivers who refuse to stop for police may have a harder time getting out of jail. Legislators have proposed new rules for judges after complaints from frustrated police. State Representative Lauren Davis has proposed a law to change the way judges deal with suspects involved in chases.
One of my dear friends is a police officer. He's like, why? Why do I go to all that effort to do that? It makes you not want to risk your life anymore.
Under the proposal, people arrested in chases could face higher bail amounts, and judges would have to explain in writing if the defendants are held on lower than requested bail or no bail at all.
A judge just orders the amount of bail, they order no bail, and that is the end of the story. They don't have to explain the voice in their head that told them to tilt a particular way.
There is no word on what state Superior Court judges think about the bill. We are expecting to hear from them on Monday when the bill has its first public hearing. This morning, we continue to track the accreditation status of North Idaho College. School leaders say the Northwest Commission on Colleges and Universities will make a final decision within a few weeks. Yesterday, the college went before the commission on Tuesday with several reported improvements. It hopes it will keep its accreditation standing. The NIC president says he is optimistic the college will be able to restore its good standing in the community.
Yesterday, there were a lot more nods and smiles than there had been in the past, which I hope is encouraging. But until we get the letter, I'm cautiously optimistic.
Since 2023, NIC operated under a show cause sanction. This is the last step before a college loses its accreditation. The Northwest Commission on Colleges and Universities recommended changing the school's leadership and add new training for the Board of Trustees.